100,000, at the very worst, tungetaka ikuje namna gani somebody? Tungetaka ikuje tulipishwe 100,000 at the very worst. So it's either we pay for the actual value of the assets or we get a bargain. So when we talk of value gap, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking at the excess amount that we shall pay. Excess amount, that premium we shall pay, which is over and above what year? The actual value of this particular what year, ladies and gentlemen, of the particular value of the company. Now, ladies and gentlemen, could you kindly give me 2 reasons, which in this case here will give us, which will bring reasons of the value gap. Reasons of the value gap. Reasons of the value gap. Why is it possible that we thought this company was to have a value of 100 million, but subsequently, after acquiring it, we realize, hey, the market has underrated it. So like number 1, we have market inefficiencies. Market inefficiencies. When you are going to buy this particular company, ladies and gentlemen, perhaps the market had not even been exposed very well to this company. But because of this acquisition, now that we have really been advertising this, so perhaps in this case here, the market comes to get to know the company very well, and then it's able to attach the true value, which in this case here will be coming much later. So market inefficiency, I'll be able to give you 1 mark. Number 2, reasons for value gap: overvaluation of shares and overbidding by acquirers. I like these reasons that I'm getting there. Although I want the very best, the very best value gap. Yes, the enthusiastic bidding. Enthusiasm. Unaulizwa dawari ulipe ngapi? Wazazi wa msichana kuambia dawari lipa 500,000. But sababu ya enthusiasm, unasema wacha nilipe 1 million. Mama anapokanyaga kwa nyumba ndio na realize kumbe value haikuwa that high. Haikuwa that high. Example mbaya, lakini lazima ujue over inadequate due diligence by the predators. Yes, inadequate due diligence. Inadequate due diligence by predators, because you see we are talking of what? Net assets. Umeenda kanunua kampuni bila kuangalia, for example, the exact tax liability. Ikisha kuja, that automatically later on ukirealize the net assets will go down straight away. You at least mko na idea. Kitu ya maana pale unataka mjue hiyo kitu ya value gap. Tuangalie, ladies and gentlemen, part C. Texas Limited, very easy question. Texas Limited is considering making a bid for the entire equity capital of Vexus Limited. Vexus Limited has a PE ratio of 9 and a total earnings of 390. PE ratio of 9 and total earnings of 390. So tuko na kampuni hapa woye inajiita Vexus. Tunaambiwa kwamba Vexus iko na PE ratio ya 9 na iko na total earnings ya ngapi somebody? Ya 390. Using these 2 sets of information, if I'm a good student of finance, I'll be able to give you the total value of Vexus. Using this PE ratio and the total earnings, I'll be able to give you the total value of Vexus. Unaweza ama uwezi? Unaweza ama uwezi? So ukienda kwa exam ya kesho, umeona wamekupatia PE ratio ya kampuni, wamesema Mary amesema anaweza. Sababu Mary ameshajua kwamba PE ratio is the same as the MPS over what here somebody? Over EPS. Is the same as MPS over EPS. And whenever they talk of valuation of an organization, we always think of making MPS the subject of the formula. So could you kindly make MPS the subject of the formula? Itakuwa PE ratio times who? Times EPS. PE ratio. Very good. I can see what Elim is telling me there. But you see now, they want me to give them the total value. Total value is as a result of combining many or rather prices of many shares. So total farm value will be equal to PE ratio times now what we call total earnings. Mimi hata hakuna kitu nanistua ni maformula mingi. Nikiona tu PE ratio na total earnings, to get firm value, I'll simply multiply the two. I'll simply multiply the two. I'll simply multiply the two. Nikiona PE ratio na total earnings somewhere, I'll simply multiply the two. I'll simply multiply the two. So 90 times 390 will end up giving me what figure, my great students? Will end up giving me what figure, my great students? Mengisha ananiambia ati ni 3510. Aya, sasa paka hapo sisi wote tumeelewana kweli? Tumeelewana kweli? Tumeelewana kweli paka hapo kweli? Kwanza tuanze hapo kwanza. Tumeelewana ama bado? Yes, thank you very much. So tushajua value ya vexers. So tuende straight away kwa the next one. Wanasema it is expected that shillings 120 no Texas Limited. Kuna mara ametuambia information ya Texas na mimi nitavuta hii haraka. Beth anasema hawana swali. Oye. Beth anasema hawana swali. Na mimi niko na very good Samaritan. Alafu hapo ananiambia tuko na farm ambayo inajiita ati Texas. Texas nayo wamenipatia PE ratio yake. Wakasema PE ratio yake ni 13. PE ratio yake ni 13. Na wakaniambia earnings zake wakaniambia earnings zake ni 693. If I'm a good student, nitakuja hapa na wapatie total what ya somebody. Total farm value. Farm value nitachukua PE ratio 13 times 693. Nipatie nakuja ngapi somebody? 13 times 693 itakuja ngapi? Oh yeah. Wananiambia ni 9009. Thank you very much. 9009. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, that Texas is the predator. Hii ndio ile anataka kununua, huyu ndio yule anataka kununua Vexas. Ndio anataka kununua Vexas. So huyu ndio predator. Huyu ndio predator, not a problem. Na natumia sasa, nimejua kuna wanafunzi ambao kwa group tofauti, kuna wanafunzi wa group tofauti, wanafunzi wa Mr. Kioko. Sasa wanakuja wanasema namna hii. It is expected that shillings 125 million of synergistic savings will be made as a consequence of the takeover. The PE ratio of the combined company will be 12. I like that. Now we are looking at an acquisition. We are looking at Vexas plus Texas. Vexas plus Texas. So if it is Vexas plus Texas, ladies and gentlemen, Vexas plus Texas, kitu ya maana wameniambia the combined PE ratio. The combined PE ratio, wamesema ni ngapi somebody? Combined PE ratio. Combined PE ratio ni ngapi? Oh yeah. Combined PE ratio ni ngapi? Combined PE ratio ni ngapi? Combined PE ratio ni, wamesema ni 12. Si ni kweli? Ni kweli. Wamesema ni 12. Ni kweli. Ni kweli. Wamesema ni 12. Haya, sababu sasa tuna combine, pia kujeni munipatie combined earnings. Kujeni hapa munipatie combined earnings. Combined earnings, shiga na. Combined earnings, zitakuja zinakuwa ngapi? Combined earnings zinakuwa ngapi? Very good. Niko peke yangu. Hapana, wewe ametuma wrong. Ametuma wrong. Au ametuma question wrong. Na ametuma question correct. Yes, yeah, Texas, yes. Aya, kuna group hapa hawana kidogo. Wanasema ni 1208. What those students have done, ladies and gentlemen, what they have done, ladies and gentlemen, wamekuja hapa wakachukua earnings ya Vexas. Earnings ya Vexas ni ngapi somebody? Earnings ya Vexas ni ngapi? Earnings ya Vexas ni ngapi? Earnings ya Vexas ni ngapi? Vexas. Earnings ya Vexas. Ile ya kwanza kabisa earnings ilikuwa inakuja ngapi? 390 Earnings ilikuwa inakuja 390 hapa. Na earnings ya Texas ni ngapi? Earnings, not value. Earnings. Earnings ya Texas ni 693. Lakini kumbuka hizi kampuni mbili zikioana kuna synergistic earnings. kuna synergistic earnings, ile concept ya 1 + 1 = 3. Hiyo synergistic earnings wamesema ni ngapi? Oye, synergistic earnings. The savings is expected that 125 million of synergistic savings will be made as a result of what year coming together. So nasema hapo plus 125. Unakuja unasema hapa plus 125 plus 125. So itakuja ngapi? Somebody combined oye. Combined oye itakuja ngapi? Hatutaki kuniongelesha. Tutaki kuniongelesha. Tutaki kuniongelesha kwa nini sasa? $125 tumepewa kwa question. Wamesema the moment we combine forces ya Vexus na Texas, we shall be able to do what here to save 125. We shall be able to save 125. We shall be able to save 125. Aya, sasa hakuna mtu mwenye ana hiyo kitu. Sasa nimetuma kabisa sasa. $125 is in the question. Thank you very much. Kwa hivyo oye, ukiongeza na kuja ngapi somebody? Kumbuka yangu ni helicopter, sitaki kukaa hapa sana. Yangu ni helicopter. So wameniambia ni 12 what year? 08. Wameniambia ni 1208 like that. And therefore, the total value of the merged entity, of the merger, itakuwa the PE ratio times 1208. Nipatie figure inakuja ngapi? PE ratio times 1208 inakuja ngapi? Inakuja ngapi? Wanasema ni 14,496. 14,496. Thank you very much. Sasa tusome. Hata sikuwa nimesoma swali. Oye, swali ukisoma vizuri wanauliza the minimum value acceptable to Vexus Limited shareholders. The minimum value acceptable. The minimum value acceptable to shareholders. To shareholders of who? To shareholders of Vexus. To shareholders of Vexus. Ungekuwa ni shareholder katika Vexus, ungeaccept pesa ngapi ndio uweze kuuza kampuni? Ungeaccept pesa ngapi? Minimum value acceptable by. Minimum value acceptable by Vexus shareholders. Minimum value acceptable by shareholders of Vexus. Shareholders of Vexus would want you to compensate them to the last cent, which is equivalent to the value of Vexus. The value of Vexus. Ambao mlipata ni ngapi somebody? They would want you to compensate them to the last cent value of Vexus, which is 3510. Thank you very much. Hiyo kwa exam ungepata oye. Unaangalia the next question. The maximum amount Texas Limited should consider paying. Ladies and gentlemen, mimi nikiwa ni shareholder kwa Texas, kama mimi ni mwenye Texas, nikitaka kujua maximum amount ambao nitalipa, nitaangalia kama mimi ni bwana, nataka kujua this lady ambao naoa nafaa kulipa, nitaangalia the value she is going to create in this marriage. The value she is going to create in this marriage. So in this case here, the additional value to Vexus, to Texas, I mean, additional value because of marriage, additional value to Texas. I can see, ladies and gentlemen, Texas, wakiona na huyu Vexus, total value inakuja 14,496 minus the old value of Texas when it is alone. When it is alone. When Texas is alone, ilikuwa inatoka pesa ngapi? Ilikuwa na value ngapi somebody? Texas ikiwa alone. Texas ikiwa alone 9009. So this is Texas plus Texas plus 90 Texas alone. So meaning that this small company we are acquiring is going to create what value? So the value created itakuja ngapi? 5,000? 5487. 5487 is the value created, and therefore this becomes, if you ask me to pay for this becomes the maximum amount payable. The maximum amount payable. I can't pay more than this. I cannot pay more than that. I can't pay more than that. That becomes the maximum amount. That becomes the maximum amount which I will pay. If I pay less, I make a profit like that. Hiyo swali kusema ukweli hapa, kila mwanafunzi angepata hiyo swali correct. Hakuna mwanafunzi angepata hiyo swali wrong. Now, ladies and gentlemen, look at November 2016. November 2016, question number 4B. 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 We ameuliza hii value ya Texas tumetoa wapi? Ndio hii hapa. Naona hapa. We took the PE ratio times the earnings of the company. The PE ratio times what here somebody? Earnings of the company. PE ratio times earnings of the company. Wengi mmechelewa kuingia, najua hii swali mmefloat, lakini sasa hivi mali imefika ukifloat swali unawachana nayo. Haya. So tuko na November 2016 question number 4 boy. November 2016 question number 4 boy. Very good. Akina leo mjaniambia niko smart. Leo hata mjaniambia niko smart. Right? Great. Thank you very much. So we are told November 2016 question number 4 boy. Kubwa Limited, a supermarket chain, is proposing to take over Small Limited. So Kubwa is the predator. This company called Small now here becomes the target company, a smaller firm in the same industry. In its bid, Kubwa Limited has offered 4 of its shares for every 3 shares of Small Limited. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's a share-to-share exchange, and we are able to see that the exchange ratio here, the exchange ratio here, wamesema it is 4 for the parent, 4 for the predator, to 3 of the targeted company. Kumbuka, in terms of shares inakuanga aje? Inakuanga nose of the predator in terms of shares, by the way. Nose of predator over nose of target. In terms of shares. Oh, wanafunzi wageni kama wageni wametujoin from Royal Business School, nose. In number of what here? Number of shares. Number of shares. Number of shares. November 2016 bid. Nose the number of shares. So number of shares of predator over number of shares of what here? Of the target company. Over number of shares of the target company. So predator wamesema in its bid, Kubwa Limited has offered 4 of its shares, Kubwa ndio predator, over 3 shares of Small, 4 over 3. Wengi wali confuse hapa wakaweka vitu zao. Aya, sasa unaenda hapo mbele. Wanasema the following are the latest summarized accounts of the 2 companies. So you can see the statement of financial position. You can see the income statement given right down there. You can see additional information. The par value of the shares of Kubwa. The par value of the shares of Kubwa Limited is 0.5, while the par value of Small Limited shares is 1. The current share price of Kubwa is 4.64, while that of Small Limited is 5.9. The current loan stock price of Small Limited is 125. And then they have given us, ladies and gentlemen, the recent annual growth trends are as follows. You can see dividends are growing by 7% for Kubwa. Earnings for Kubwa as well, 7%. And then small, dividends 8%. And earnings of small, seemingly an aggressive company, 10%. The following will take place after the acquisition. Surplus warehousing facilities will be sold for 13.0 tier 6. Shillings 18 million will be paid out for redundancy of employees. There will be savings of 5.4 million from wages every year for at least 5 years. We are told Note 5, Kubwa Limited has an estimated cost of equity of 14.5% and a WACC of 12%. 6, Small Limited has an estimated cost of equity of 13%. So they want me to evaluate whether the bid is likely to be viewed favorably by the shareholders of both Kubwa Limited and Small Limited. Hiyo swali wanafunzi wakisoma namna hii mnasikia namna gani? Doable, not doable. Is it doable, not doable? Doable, not doable. Bethwell amekuwa forthright akasema ni mzito kusema ukweli. Confused. Somebody share 2016 November B kwa group please. Tricky sana. So hii kitu sio tricky at all. No, hapana. Hii sasa hata mimi sitafanya swali hata yote. Hapana. Nataka tu uweze kuunderstand kwa umbali tu. Mwanzo swali, ladies and gentlemen, ambao tunakuja nayo hapa ni ya mergers and acquisitions. Na kama ni ya mergers and acquisitions, ladies and gentlemen, lazima ukuwe unajua a few things. So lazima, for example, ukuwe na market price per share of the two companies. So tuko na Kubwa na tuko na gani somebody? Small. Wamesema Kubwa and small, yes. So hebu niambieni MPS. Wamesema MPS ni ngapi ya Kubwa? From note number 2. MPS ya Kubwa ni ngapi from note number 2? So wamesema ni 4.64. Ya Small J from note number 2. Ya small from note number 2 inakuja ngapi? 5.9. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, that you should never ever try to do is to work out a question of mergers and acquisitions, you as a professional, without their EPSs. So could you kindly give me the EPSs of the two companies? Remember, to get EPS is not a major deal. It's not a big problem. To get EPS, ladies and gentlemen, we normally take total earnings all over news. Total earnings available to ordinary shareholders. Total earnings available to ordinary shareholders over news. So saidieni mwalimu jameni, EPS ya Kubwa itakuwa vipi? EPS ya Kubwa itakuwa vipi jameni? Are you able to see the total earnings? Unajua sasa hata kama unasema umechanganyikiwa, atumekuwa confused. Hata kwa unasema hivyo, please usiangalie earnings kwa balance sheet. Earnings ziko wapi? Ziko income statement. Yes. So kama ni kwa income statement, are you able to see the earnings available to shareholders of Kubwa? Mimi nimeona kitambo 100. Now thank you very much. How about number of ordinary shares za Kubwa? How about number of ordinary shares za Kubwa? Number of ordinary shares za, ningekuwa wewe nikisikia number of ordinary shares na kimbiza macho straight kwa balance sheet na kimbisha macho straight kwa balance sheet, ladies and gentlemen, I can see straight away number of ordinary shares za Kubwa ni 150 divided by the par value. Remember how we get no's. We normally take the share capital divided by the par value, and the par value has been given in note number 1. The par value of Kubwa ni 0.5. Wanafunzi werevu wameshajua 150 divided by 0.5 ni 300. Kwa hivyo hebu nipatieni EPS ya kubwa. EPS ya kubwa itakuwa 100 divided by 300, ambayo inakuja, hata waniongeleshi, ambayo inakuja ngapi sasa? Oye, EPS ya kubwa itakuja ngapi at the end of the day? So wanasema ni 0.33. On the same breath, ladies and gentlemen, could you kindly go ahead and give me the EPS ya small? Ya small. EPS ya small. EPS ya small. EPS ya small. EPS ya... Hizo ni marks zinaingia tu bila ya kujua chenye kinaendelea. Wanafunzi wakicomplain, where marks zinaingia. So for small, ladies and gentlemen, for small, I'll take the total earnings as small. Total earnings are small. Total earnings are small. Nikiangalia vizuri, total earnings ni 16. Divided by the nose, number of ordinary shares are small, where I can vividly see that the par value from note number 1, the par value of small shares is 1. And then I can see, ladies and gentlemen, there, ordinary share capital are small, ni 40. So it is 40 divided by 1 par value. 40 divided by par value, like that. So this one, somebody tells me at the end of the day, ningapi, somebody 0. what? Somebody tells me it is 0.4. Thank you, and thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm coming into this arrangement as an expert of mergers and acquisitions. So the next thing, the moment I see MPS and EPSs, I would want their PE ratios. This is very important for me. I would want their PE ratios. But now, do you know the formula of getting PE ratio? Do you know the formula of getting PE ratio? Do you know the formula of getting PE ratio? Do you know the formula of getting PE ratio? Great. Wameniambia mwalimu, PE ratio, abracadabra. PE ratio is price over earnings. So this will be MPS all over EPS. MPS all over EPS. MPS all over EPS. So MPS, ladies and gentlemen, tuanza na hii kubwa. So kubwa itakuwaje? Oye, itakuwa akiata ujaona 4.64 over 0.33. Itakuja ngapi somebody PE ratio? According to Esther Wamboi anasema ati PE ratio ni 14.06. Ati PE ratio ni 14.06. Hii ya kubwa. How about ya small? How about ya small? Ya small? Ya small, it should be 5.9 all over 0.4. Ambayo itakuja ikuwe ngapi? 5.9 divided by 0.4. Wananiambia mwalimu, hii itakuwa ni 14.75. Itakuwa ni 14.75. Itakuwa ni 14.75. Great. Thank you very much. Kusema ukweli, ukishafika paka hapo, hata ukiwa ni maka, si hapo no mwanafunzi amejaribu sana kusema ukweli. Si amejaribu sana. Hata kama ajui anafanya nini. Yeah. Because such a question, trust you me, I've marked AFM for so long. Such a question, many students will always end up returning the script blank. Now, what were they asking? They wanted us to carry out a viability test from the perspective of the shareholders' views. Remember, now for the company to be acquired, this small company, iko na shareholder, existing ones. So our existing ones, watakubali kuuza company yao kama kuna premium on acquisition. Kama kuna premium on acquisition, then what they would want you to tell them, how much are you offering them for their shares? How much are you offering them for their shares? How much are you offering them for their shares? So what is the offer price? So the offer price, ladies and gentlemen, in this question, when we read this question, we went through this question, is there anybody who was able to see a mention of an offer price anywhere? Have they given us any offer price anywhere? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes or no? Offer price imepeanwa ama haijapeanwa? Wanasema haijapeanwa. Tunaweza tukaitoa wapi? Tunaweza fanya aje tupate? Gideon anasema yes, mimi sioni mali wametupatia. share for share exchange, but you see that's not an offer price. That's not an offer price, no. So we need to calculate this offer price ourselves. So please go ahead and calculate the offer price yourselves. So go ahead and calculate the offer price yourselves. So of course we know that our normal, remember this is the normal exchange ratio. You know, there are two types of exchange ratios. We have the diluting exchange ratio, the diluted or diluting exchange, non-diluting, exchange ratio, and then we have the normal. So this is normal. So if it is normal, could you kindly give us a formula of getting the normal exchange ratio? Getting the normal exchange, could you kindly give us a formula? Normal exchange ratio, itakuwa namna gani normal exchange ratio? Offer price, wamesema mwalimu, hiyo ndio correct. Ni offer price all over MPS of Predator. All over MPS of Predator. Yes, the normal exchange ratio wangi inatafutwa hivyo. Kwa tunachukua offer price all over MPS of the Predator. All over MPS of the Predator. Brilliant. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember that our exchange ratio we were given up there was 4 over what? 3. So 4 over 3 will be equal to the offer price all over the MPS of, I know. Why should I write it here? I know the MPS of the Predator. Who is our Predator? Kubwa. So MPS of the Predator, ningapi somebody MPS of the Predator? 4.64. Thank you very much. So is there anybody who can make offer price the subject of the formula? Is there anybody who can make offer price the subject of the formula? Is there anybody who can make offer price the subject of the formula? Anybody? Yes, could you kindly do that for me? Kindly do that for me and then you give me a figure. Kindly do that for me and then you give me a figure. Kindly do that for me and then you give me a figure. Great. Wameniambia offer price, ladies and gentlemen. Wameniambia itakuwa ni 4 over 3 times 4.64. Nisaidie figure jameni. Wanasema ni 6.19. Wanasema ni 6.19. Wanasema ni 6.19. This is 6 point what here, somebody? 6.19. Now listen and listen to me very well. After you get this offer price, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to know whether it's beneficial to the shareholders of the target. Is it beneficial to the shareholders of the target company? For me to be able to know whether it's beneficial, then I need to get the premium. The premium, yes. Please give me the premium. Give me the premium. Premium. But how do I get the premium and yet I've forgotten the formula? How do I get the premium and yet I've forgotten the formula? Ladies and gentlemen, the premium here, remember premium for who? For the target company, remember. For the target company, remember. I'll always take the price offer price minus MPS of the target company. MPS of the target company. So offer price umesema ni ngapi? Offer price umeniambia saizi kwamba offer price ni 6.19. So 6.19 minus, ladies and gentlemen, minus the MPS of the targeted company. MPS ya target company, na naona kweli MPS ya target company ni ngapi somebody? MPS ya target company wamesema ni 5.9. Thank you very much. Kwa hivyo itakuja kuwe ngapi somebody? Itakuja kuwe 0.29. So in this case here, to the shareholders of the targeted company, the deal is sweet because there is a premium. To the shareholders of the targeted company, the deal is what here? The deal is sweet. 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 The deal is good. That's what, right professionally. Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember what the question asked me to do here. What the question asked me to do is to evaluate whether the bid is likely to be viewed favorably by the shareholders of both Kubwa Limited and what here, somebody? Small Limited. So small, who are the shareholders of the target company, then they'll be what here? Very happy. How about the shareholders of Kubwa? The shareholders of the parent? How about the shareholders of the parent? Here staki kumaliza. Ladies and gentlemen. The shareholders of the parent, there is only one thing that I would want you to do for me. The shareholders of the parent, there is only one thing that I would want you guys to do for me. There is one thing that I would want you guys to do for me, for the parent. For the parent, there is only one thing that I would want you guys to do for me. For the parent, there is only one thing that I would want you to do for me. For the parent, for the predator. For the predator, there is one thing, only one thing I would want you to do for me. Number one, give me the combined earnings. Give me the combined earnings. When we combine forces, when we come together, what will be our combined earnings? Our combined earnings, I'll take the earnings of the individual companies where I can see the income statement of Kubwa telling me that Kubwa Limited earnings are 100. 100, right? Is it 100 or 116? I don't know where he's getting 116. Oh, 100 plus 16. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, there will always be those. There will always be those. There will always be those earnings which fall to the two companies when they come together because of synergy. Because of synergy. Like look at note number 3. Is it note number 3? No. Look at note number 4. Note number 4, ladies and gentlemen, what are they telling us? Surplus warehousing facilities will be sold for 13.6. But once we come together, wamesema note number 4, the following will take place after the acquisition. After the acquisition, we'll be having surplus warehousing. So this is an income to us. So nasema hapa plus what here somebody? 13.6. Shillings 18 million will be paid out for redundancy of employees. So in this case here, we have minus what here somebody, because that is a payment. We are paying because of having the workers being declared what here redundant. So minus 18 plus, you can see savings there. Savings of how much? Savings of 5.4. Savings of 5.4 million from wages every year. Every year for at least how many years? 5 years. So plus 5.4 times PVFA. Have they given us the parents' cost of capital? Parents' cost of capital is 12%. Note number 5. 12% for how many years? 5 years. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm repeating again that this 5.4 will be received by us every year. Every year. For how many years? For 5 years. For 5 years. Remember, once we acquire this smaller company, it ceases to exist. So the company that will be visible is Kubwa, is the predator. That is why we are making use of a cost of capital of the predator, which is 12%. Aki woye, hapa najua nimewachuna zaidi woye. Hebu nisaidieni figa. Kutoka kwa kalki yenu mnapata figa ya ngapi somebody woye? Iya PVFA 12%, 5 years. Wameniambia mwalimu ati hiyo ni 3 point what year somebody? At 3.60, 48. 3.60, 48. So then could you kindly go ahead and give me the combined earnings? This is a free mark which I would always want you to think about, especially for the students that I began with this lesson. I want to believe there is something new you have learned out of this. I want to believe that there is something new you have learned out of this. So combined earnings, mnaenda polepole uoye, mnaenda polepole uoye, mnaenda polepole. Wanasema 19 point what here somebody? Is that true? 19 point total answer haiwezi kuwa 19. Total answer haiwezi kuwa 19. Total answer kusema ukweli haiwezi kuwa 19. Total answer haiwezi kuwa 19 kusema ukweli. Haiwezi. 131 point what here? 07. 131.07. Thank you and thank you very much. Sasa kutoka hapo, wewe ukienda to make assumptions zako, uchukue PE ratio of the parent alone, uanze kumultiply useme value of the merged entity, hiyo sasa itakuwa shida yako. Mimi nilikuwa nataka ujue at least kwa umbali the helicopter approach, uweze kujua ladies and gentlemen how to handle this thing exactly. How to handle this thing exactly in a way that will be ahead of the rest. And I rest my case there. Thank you very much. So from there, ladies and gentlemen, I would want to take you straight away to our model paper. Our model paper. I would want us to do this question on decision tree. Decision tree. Model paper, decision tree. Our model paper, there is a question on decision. Iko kweli hapa makuna? Mimi ndio naota tu. Mimi ndio naota. Ni kama hakuna Hiyo swali kwani iko wapi hiyo swali? Nasitaki tufanye ingine yoyote, hiyo tu peke yake. You model paper kuna decision tree which I would want us to do. Kuna decision tree that I would want us to do there. Yeah, umbrellas. Nishakupatia swali kama hiyo kweli? Swali ya umbrellas. Mani waachie mtafute peke yenu. Swali ya umbrellas. Decision tree. Lakini sasa itasomeka kweli swali ya umbrellas. Hii ni ile ya Better Shoe Company. Question sina. Better Shoe Company. Lazima ikuwe revision kit yenu. Better Shoe Company. Kosekana tutaitafuta tu pole. Better Shoe Company. Better Shoe Company. Hiyo imekataa. I'll know what to do with it. I will know what to do with it. Kwa sasa hiyo imeleta shida. Better Shoe Company. Iko mwenye anaiona mahali Better Shoe Company. Great, tuachana na hiyo kwanza for now, lakini tutamaliza class kama sijawafanyia hiyo. I'll make sure nimewafanyia Better Shoe Company. Haya. Hiyo niko na shida. Haya, tuangalie May 2016 question number 2. May 2016 question number 2. May 2016 question number 2. Dahiru kuna swali? Better Shoe Company. Don't worry, I'll know what to do. Don't worry. I'll know what to do. Don't worry, I'll know what to do. Ruth Domitila ameipata mbali 2004. Better Shoe Company. Decision theory. Better Shoe Company. Better Shoe Company. Ilikuwa imekuja na semester nyingine wakaita umbrellas. Umbrellas. Haya, tukingoja msichana tutumie, hebu kidogo to jog memory ya May 2016, question number 2, portfolio theory. Portfolio theory, hiyo sitafanya yote because I know you guys are great in portfolio. Ikija mambo ya portfolio mnajua sana. So nasema Biashara Limited, are we there? May 2016? May 2016, are we there? Oh yeah. May 2016. Yes. So wanasema Biashara Limited wishes to invest in stocks M&N in 2 different industries. The following information relates to the 2 stocks. They have given us expected returns. They have given us standard deviations for each one of them. They have given us beta coefficient. They have given us amount of money invested. So number 1, they want us to give them the expected portfolio return. Tunaweza hiyo ama tuwezi? Expected portfolio return. The first thing when they talk of expected portfolio return, I would think about is the meaning of a portfolio. Combination, yes. So first of all, we get the weights. Let's give them the weights. So weights washasema wanajua hii swali sana. So the weights, ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 of them. We have stock M, we have got stock N. So weights, of course, ladies and gentlemen, weights normally, we look at the amounts invested in each one of them. You can see M, we invested 1.2 million. N, we invested 0.8 million. So in total, the total investment here was 2 million. So 1.2 divided by 2 million, 0.2 divided by 2 million, like that. So could you kindly give me these weights very fast? Please give me these weights very fast. Give me the weights very fast. So Carol tells me that this is 0.6, this is 0.4. And now, ladies and gentlemen, fortunately, they have given me expected returns. They have given me expected returns for each of these securities. Hapo wamesema tuko na 18, hapo wamesema tuko na 16, like that. And therefore, expected portfolio returns will be equal to weight M, expected return of M, plus weight N, expected return of N. So kumaanisha hapa weight M is 0.6 times expected return M, which is 18. Plus, ladies and gentlemen, here we have 0.4 multiplied by what here, somebody? 16. Multiplied by 16. So could you kindly give me this answer? Could you kindly give me this answer? Wanasema ni ngapi woye? Wanasema ni ngapi woye? Wanasema ati ni 17 point what here? 17.2. Wanasema ni 17.2. Is that okay? Very good. Thank you very much. 17.2. Now, ladies and gentlemen, from there we move on to the next thing, 17.2%. Explain the effect on the risk if the returns of M and N were perfectly, positively correlated. Perfectly, positively correlated. So, ladies and gentlemen, if they were perfectly, positively correlated, what does that mean? R equals 1. Olivia ameshajua already. R equals 1. R equals 1. R equals 1. However, listen and listen to me very well. When you're told here that 2 securities are positively, perfectly, positively correlated, meaning that R is 100%, meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that these securities are a mirror image of each other. So basically, whenever 2 securities are exactly identical, then zero risk reduction will take place. Hata ukiandika kwanza hivyo tu, zero risk reduction takes place. Ladies and gentlemen, when your partner is exactly your mirror image, mkioana straight away, hakuna mahali mnaenda. Amwezi mka reduce risk. Amwezi mka reduce risk. Na ni maana wanawaambia, ukiwa accountant kama mimi, make sure kwamba umeoa mwalimu wa primary school. Opposite interests. In that way, you'll be able to reduce what here? Risk. You'll be able to reduce risk. So ukiambiwa kwamba hapa ni perfectly, positively, you know, perfectly means what here? That we are talking of what here? Somebody 100%. 100% yes. 100% yes. So in this case here, there will be no risk reduction. Now, ladies and gentlemen, so in this particular case, you are saying that R equals what here? R equals 1. What if in this case here, they said perfectly, like they'll tell you tomorrow, negatively correlated? Now, these securities, ladies and gentlemen, are exactly opposite of each other. So if they are perfectly negatively correlated, then automatically R equals -1. And now this one gives you an opportunity of diversifying risk, reducing risk by 100%. So 100% risk what here? Risk reduction. Risk reduction. 100% risk reduction. 100% risk reduction. Great. They may tell you that the securities are not correlated at all. Securities are not correlated. They are not correlated. So meaning that R equals what here, somebody? R equals 0. If there is no relationship at all, R is 0. This one you may need to do what here? You have to compute for you to get the extent of what here? Risk diversification. My words are this. I know you are good with portfolio. Perfect, negatively correlated. Please remember this. Very important, very important, very important. Sawa sawa. And then when you look at, ladies and gentlemen, 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 portfolios, always remember that portfolio question where you are given various investments, and then you are asked whether these various constituents of your portfolio are optimal. So you must be able to know how to measure performance of securities using which model. If they asked you, they give you that a portfolio has got securities A, B, C, D. Yeah, A, B, C, D. Ladies and gentlemen, yes, the alpha, the Jensen's alpha value. The Jensen's alpha value. If you get all of them having positive, if you get all of them having, for example, positive Jensen's alpha value, then tell this person not to do what? Tell this person, ladies and gentlemen, not to change the composition. Yeah, the level of efficiency, I like that. Now, apart from Jensen's alpha value, if I were you, ladies and gentlemen, ndajikumbusha wale watu wengine ambao wanamesha performance. Ni nani somebody? Apart from Jensen's performance appraisal, tuko na nani somebody? Sharps. Tuko na trainer. Very good. Sana Sharps na nani? Na trainer. Huyu nani apendi pasta? Kuna Peter apendi pasta. Pastor Stamberg model. So staki mwenza kuenda details mingi sana. Nikiwa niwe nasoma portfolio management, these are the kind of things I'll be thinking about. Now, ladies and gentlemen, on this breath, can somebody give us the major differences between CAPM and APM? CAPM and APM. Is there anybody who is able to remember these differences very fast? CAPM and APM. CAPM and APM differences. CAPM and APM. Wamesema CAPM is a single factor model. This is a single factor model, and this is a multiple factor model. I like that. Right. Single period. Ladies and gentlemen, when we are looking at CAPM returns, they are normally annual. However, this one in this case here makes use of what you can make use of even years, multiple years. So multiple periods. Multiple periods. Any other difference between CAPM and APM? Kabla hiyo, kuna zile ambao ni quite glaring. At the APT uses indifference curves. No, ladies and gentlemen, remember, for CAPM to apply, there must be a market portfolio. This APM is not a must. In this case here, market portfolio, not needed. And if you remember, for you to be able to really identify the market portfolio, ladies and gentlemen, you must make use of what here? Indifference curves. So in APM, I don't need what here? Indifference curves. etc. Yangu nimekuambia ni high level. Hata ukipata pointi mbili inakutosha. Ladies and gentlemen, could you kindly give me the assumptions of CAPM? Assumptions of CAPM. Na nakumbuka assumptions of CAPM. Ukisikia assumptions of CAPM, please remember CAPM's equation. We know that CAPM returns equals what here, somebody? Risk-free plus ERM minus risk-free multiplied by beta, isn't it? Beta S. So unaanza na hii ya kwanza kwamba CAPM assumes that the risk-free rate of return is given and will remain constant. CAPM assumes that there is a market portfolio whose returns are known in advance and will remain what here? Constant. CAPM assumes that, ladies and gentlemen, all investors are risk averse. That is why they want to run away from risk directly. Of course, there is that risk which you can never go below. So in this case here, CAPM assumes that the investors are risk averse. And then now we have got this as an assumption: no taxes, no transaction cost, etc. No more distribution. Lakini yangu nimekuambia, yangu ni high level. Very good. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to real estate, last semester, they basically, yes, helicopter touch. Last semester, basically, they gave us theory questions real estate. This time around, if I was the one who did any setting, of course, I never set exams. I don't set exams for CASNEB. I just wish. The way I love my students, where would I want to take them through this kind of trouble? Kitambo sana. But ladies and gentlemen, in tomorrow's class, ukienda upate swali kama hii, wanakuambia hapa, wanakuambia year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, infinity. Hapa wakuambie 100, hapa wakuambie 150. Hizi ni cash flows, rental income, adjusted, they'll adjust everything for you. Wakupatie cash flows like that. Wakuambie year 100, hapa 150, year 3 wakuambie 170, year 4 wakuambie 190, hapa wakuambie ni 8% growth rate. Wakuje hapa wakupatie, for example, of course these guys would always want to joke around with you. They'll want to joke around with you. So what they'll do, watakuja hapa wakupatie the real cost of capital. Real cost of capital wakuambie is 18%. 18%. Wakwambia inflation is 6%. Alafu watakwambia you determine the value of this property whose cash flows are like that. Determine the value of the property and the cash flows have been given like that. So they've given you real cost of capital. Umesha copy hiyo swali chini kweli? Real cost of capital wamekupatia 18%. Inflation wamekwambia 6%. Hapo wanakuambia wapatie value of the property. I've seen some good students here telling me, mwalimu, in finance we don't use real cost of capital. In finance, whenever they give us real cost of capital, we must look for the nominal cost of capital using Fisher's equation. So is there anybody who will be able to use Fisher's equation very fast here? Fisher's equation. Very good. I can see what Mary Njoroge has told us. So Mary Njoroge anatuambia kwamba ati yeye amejua kutafuta Fishers amejua ni 1 plus n equals 1 plus what here r into 1 plus inflation, like that. 1 plus inflation. So kumaanisha, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, my 1 plus r ndio hii hapa. Itakuwa 1.18 into 1.06. Kumaanisha 1 plus n itakuwa equal na nini? So remember, they'll give you cash flows. It's a property, right? So anatuambia hapa straight away, when you multiply the two, we are getting 1.250 what? 1.2508. But remember, I want n. N is the nominal, the one we use for discounting. N is the nominal, the one we normally use for what here? For discounting. So could you kindly give me the nominal? So remember, ladies and gentlemen, for discounting purposes, we always make use of the what here? Of the nominal. So our nominal, if you make the subject here, our nominal will be 1.2508 minus 1, which gives us 0.2508, which is 25.08%. So basically, I'll come and discount this using 25%. I'll discount this basically using 25%. But now, ladies and gentlemen, before that, I can see a disaster here. I can see, ladies and gentlemen, the infinity percentage. I can see the infinity percentage. So are you able to do something there? Please give me this infinity cash flow. So andika mahali hapo infinity cash flow. Andika mahali hapo infinity cash flow. Andika mahali hapo infinity cash flow. Umeshaandika namna hiyo kweli? So kama umeandika namna hiyo infinity cash flow, could you kindly calculate it for us? Infinity cash flow, kindly calculate it for us. Okay, so I can see some students have gotten, but there are those other students who haven't taken a step of faith, Okay. Okay. So what do we have here? For these infinity cash flows, anytime they tell you to calculate infinity cash flows, ladies and gentlemen, always think about this. That infinity cash flow will always be equal to the provincial officer. Provincial officer equals district officer who has to grow in the form of ranks all over Kenya minus government. Right? Ini msemo tu. So ukisikia concept ya infinity, always think about, ladies and gentlemen, the most current dividend is the most current cash flow, which is 190 into 1 plus the growth rate. The growth rate, which is perpetual, is 8%. The growth rate, which is perpetual, is 8%. So 8% all over. Fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this question haina mambo ya WACC. The cost of equity in this particular case becomes our nominal, our discounting, which is 0.25 minus 0.08. So could you kindly give me this figure at the end of the day? 190 times 1.08 equals, andika answer kando, divided by, open brackets, 0.25 minus 0.08 close. Alafu nipatie final answer. Uniambie uoye itakuja ikuwe ngapi hapa uoye? Itakuja ikuwe ngapi somebody? Because here, instead of giving us money, they give us percentage. Itakuja ikuwe ngapi somebody? Wanasema itakuwa 12. Havana. Hata kama kuna rounding off errors, hapana. 1207, 1207. Please allow me to pick just a whole number like that. So anytime you see this concept of infinity, always remember provincial officer. Provincial officer, if you can remember from the shares. If you can remember from the shares, EPO, the market price per share current. In current dividends per share. Right? etc namna hiyo. Haya. Wanasema 1201 ama 1207. Whichever. Hatuwezi pigana sasa. Hatuwezi pigana. Haya. Sasa unakuja hapa mbio oye. At 25%, the same 25%, please give me the discounting factors. At 25%, come and give me the discounting factors. Give me the PVIF at 25%. PVIF. Mimi najua nyinyi wanafunzi waerevu. PVIF, hapa natumia formula ya 1 plus R raised to negative N. 1 plus R raised to negative N. Kwa hivyo oye, itakuwa ni 1.25 raised to negative N. Sababu R ni 25%. 25% ni sawa na 0.25. Kwa hivyo oye, hapa itakuja ikuwe 1.25 raised to negative 1. Hapa itakuwa 1.25 raised to negative 2. Hapa itakuwa 1.25 raised to negative 3. Hapa itakuwa 1.25 raised to negative 4. Hiyo tunarudia exactly hii. 1.25 raised to negative 4. Whatever you have up here is what you bring down there. Samson na lele ameniambia 0.8 ya kwanza, true or false? Ya kwanza ameniambia ni 0.8. Ya pili je 0.64. Hii ameniambia ni 0.64. Ya tatu je? Ya tatu oye. Haijakuwa 0, uongo. 0.512. Ya ine je? 0.4096, 0.4096. Alafu sasa ya mwisho kama mashetani imeingia katikati, utapata mwanafunzi amecalculate ati ni 5 na infinity watu na copy ya juu 4096. Kutoka hapo unakuja na create column ya mwisho ya present value. Una create column ya mwisho ya present value. Column ya mwisho ya present value. Column ya mwisho ya present value. So column ya mwisho ya present value wewe ni kumultiply tu sasa. Wanasema hiyo akimultiply huo yeye ni 8. Ya pili shigana. Ya pili 96. Ya tatu J 96. Ya tatu 170 by 0.512 inakuja 87.04. 87.04. Aha, ya mwisho J second last 87 0.04 nimeshaandika hiyo. 77.82. 77.82. Alafu kikuja ya mwisho kabisa J. Ya mwisho kabisa J. Hivi tunawafunza ni mzuri. Hivi tunawafunza. Ni mzuri. 494 point what here somebody? 494.4. Alafu unakuja unaongeza, unatupatia value of the property. Value of the property. Value of the property. Ongeza yote, wanasema ni 835.25. 835.25 namna hiyo. Haya, ukiangalia ladies and gentlemen, maswali ile ambayo ishakuja sana kama hiyo alituuliza ya theory. Wanapenda sana real estate, wanapenda theory sana. Wanapenda theory sana. Kama ya November 2018 question number 5. Hii tumeshapata value of shamba mafuta. Tushapata value yake. Sijui kama umeshika kitu hata kama ni kidogo tu. Pass mark ya AFM ni kidogo sana. Pass mark ya AFM ndio hata maana ukija kwangu niambia tu mwalimu AFM ilikuwa ngumu na cheka tu, because I know so long as ulijaza pages, so long as ulikuwa unaandika figures, you will overcome, because AFM is the simplest paper. AFM is the simplest paper. Hebu angalia kama November 2018 walisema analyze 3 assumptions of the income approach of valuing real estate business. Assumptions of the income approach. Assumptions of income approach. Ya kwanza, income approach ni kama tumefanya, ladies and gentlemen. Income approach ni kama hiyo tumefanya, ladies and gentlemen. Income approach ni kama hiyo tumefanya sasa hivi. Yeah, where you look at the incomes from a property and then you are able to do what here? To discount. So the first assumption of this income approach, ladies and gentlemen, ya properties ya kwanza kabisa ni kwamba the properties in question are income producing. Income producing properties. Lakini ukienda ununue kashamba pale Kajiado at 15 acres na ka produce any income, how will you be able to value that particular property using income approach? Haiwezekani. Hiyo ni impossible. The other good assumption, ladies and gentlemen, number 2 is that all earnings are paid out as dividends. Very important, because you know it is the shareholders, the guys who are coming to buy this particular property would want to value. So they'll assume that whenever they see the profit after taxes, you are going to give them everything. So meaning, ladies and gentlemen, that the dividend payout ratio always equals what here? Equals 100%. Equals 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, another one which you can bring before you bring those obvious one of no taxes and whatever. Number 3 is that the cost of capital is known. Cost of capital is known and will remain constant, because we need the cost of capital for us to be able to discount what here? The income. Great. Now from there, ladies and gentlemen, wakatuuliza May 2019, Question number 3A. May 2019, question number 3A. May 2019, question number 3A. Capital structure is irrelevant. Is relevant or irrelevant? Unajua mna confuse. Unajua ini kama approach of valuing what here real estate. Lakini bado tu ni sawa. Nitakupatia tu of valuing real estate. Lakini sasa tuachane na hiyo. Sasa tuende kwa May 2019. Wakatuuliza, discuss 4 types of risks associated with the investment in real estate trust securities. Rates. The rates. First of all, wakisema jina rates, what comes to your mind? Could you kindly try to describe this for me? What are rates? Rates ni gani oye? Rates ni gani oye? Akiutaka kuniongelesha. Real estate investment trusts. No, real estate investment trust. Real estate investment trust. So how will you define rates? What are 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 rates? Now, ladies and gentlemen, remember basically these are real estate companies whose shares trade at the stock exchange. Yeah, they basically work on the concept of what we call capital pooling. You know, it is not many of us, ladies and gentlemen, who can afford what here, who can afford to get into real estate. But what if, for example, somebody like Aura goes ahead and registers a real estate company and then invites each one of you to buy now shares? So if then that is the case, that whatever you are owning in my company is not land, you're only owning a share, then automatically whatever company I have will be falling under what we call investment trust. That I'm holding these particular lands, which my company has now directly in trust. So capital pooling. So they bring in capital. I handle these investments in trust that once we realize any capital gains, and of course we sell them, the ones we are selling, we shall be able to pay. Remember also, ladies and gentlemen, rates here, for you to be able to qualify under rates here, you must pay dividend payout ratio again. The dividend payout ratio should be about what year? You are not required to withhold rates money. Because we know that hii mambo ya mashamba mafuta iko na corruption sana. Tukiendelea kuachia profit ukae nazo wewe, itakuwa ni international disaster. So you would want the dividend payout ratio to be exactly equal to what here, 100%. And should you achieve this, the taxes, corporation taxes will be zero. Corporation, no tax, yes. Corporation tax becomes what here? Becomes zero. Now, ladies and gentlemen, now what if somebody comes, like now Bethwell has come and bought some rates from me? Okay, know his rates, depending on the amount you'll buy, ni as good as buying land from me. So if you buy this land from me, what are some of the risks which you will be exposed to? Some of the risks which you'll be exposed to. Some of the risks which you'll be exposed to. Of course, there's a very big risk that in the future, you will not get, in this case here, a market. So we have here liquidity risk. Thank you very much. Liquidity risk. I like that. Any other type of risk? Market risk. Yes. Market risk. Market risk. Interest rate risk. Interest rate risk, because chances are, ladies and gentlemen, you've bought these rates using borrowed money. And of course, interest rates could fluctuate. If they fluctuate upwards, they eat onto your profits. They eat onto your profits. We have dividend risk. The risk that you may not receive dividends. The risk that you may not receive dividends. Yeah, basically the economic risk pertaining to investment. The investment risk. Kwani watu wangapi ambao mnajua wameenda wakainvest kama wajamaa wa juzi waenda kuinvest kwa greenhouse 395,000. Hiyo ni investment risk, ikapotea. Mwingine akaenda kuinvest ya nini? Mwingine akaenda kuinvest na Amazon web worker. Yeah, Golden Scape. Yeah. So I like the foreign exchange risk. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know this other risk is very easy for you to explain. What is liquidity risk? What is liquidity risk? What is liquidity risk? What is liquidity risk? I know the others are very easy to explain. If you can Google there, what is liquidity risk? Yeah, like right now, there are so many people who have a lot of properties that you can't convert to what year? To cash. You can't convert to cash. Like right now, selling land is not a walk in the park. It's not a walk in the park. You cannot. Right? So asante sana. So hizi ni vitu unafaa kuwa unafikiria kuhusu exam yako kesho. But the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is the helicopter approach. Hapana naanza kukram hizi vitu mingi sana. Helicopter, hata unaposoma ni helicopter approach. Asante sana. Now, ladies and gentlemen, kuna maswali ingine mengi wanafunzi wanakosa kujibu at all. Unaenda kama May 2017 question number 4. May 2017 question number 4. Explain 3 functions of African Development Bank. Explain 3 functions of African Development Bank. ADB. Same na functions of World Bank. Nipatie hizo functions za haraka za ADB. Lending, of course, this is just like any other bank. So they lend money. They provide loans to member countries for infrastructure development. Very important. Number 2, we have advisory and the technical assistance. Anytime you want money from the World Bank, ladies and gentlemen, these guys, of course, will need you to work with their experts. They have to come and look at structural adjustments, what you need to do. Wanakuambia kama ni IMF, kama ufanye hivi. So technical advice, I like that. Technical advice comes through feasibility studies. It is a World Bank which acts as a guarantor. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that also these banks, just like any other bank, they give member countries an opportunity of saving. So they accept, like somebody told us there, they accept deposits. Yes. They accept people. They always keep on telling you, come and increase your reserve. When you're increasing your reserve with them, of course, during hard times, you will be able to get yes. Like this one of regulatory function, yes, that's quite a key thing. Once we know that if we mess up a little bit here and there, like now, look at what IMF is doing with us, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of telling us that you need to add these taxes, you need to do this and this. Peter Mutie is asking a very serious question, which I would want to answer after your exams, whether Kenya is depositing anything with them. I don't know, but I want to answer that after your exams, like that. Now, how about functions of IMF? Functions of IMF, ladies and gentlemen, most of them are like functions of World Bank, right? Except for the concept of like the balance of payments. They have a function of ensuring that each member country has a positive balance of payment. We are able to export more than we import. We are able to export more than we import. Is anybody kabla niseme hiyo tanyamaze kidogo. What are other functions of IMF ambazo nyinyi mnakumbuka sana? Na hiyo by the way ilikuwa tested hiyo, bado hiyo imekuwa tested. Functions of World Bank, functions of IMF. Yeah. Foreign exchange stabilization, that I'll give you, foreign exchange stabilization. I like that. The thing that I would want you guys to Google for me tonight, not tomorrow, tonight, is this. Methods of financing international trade. Methods of financing international trade. Methods of financing international trade. Ningetaka zaidi kusikia ama unazijua. If you got, for example, ladies and gentlemen, some business today to deliver something in a country like America, you have a client there. Could you kindly give me some of the methods you could use to finance international trade? Ule amesema yes. Ongea. Ule amesema yes. Ongea. Hizo most of them nasema hapo ni moja tu. Wewe usitafute hiyo, achana nayo. Hiyo usitafute, achana nayo. Usitafute forwards and futures. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other thing which is very important for you, when we talk of transfer pricing, how can we make use of transfer pricing to grow value of multinational companies? Multinational companies. Transfer pricing to grow value of multinational companies. This one I'll be able to tell you very fast, because I know it will be very hard for you to get this information anywhere. This one, if you Google now, you'll be able to get methods of financing international trade, which you even used to get in high school. Now, ikija kwa transfer pricing to grow value of multinational companies, ladies and gentlemen, remember, one of the objectives of transfer pricing is to minimize global taxes. Global taxes by who? By multinational companies. Yeah. Hizo autonomy ni mzuri, lakini hizo wachana nazo, hizo ni AMA. Hapa kwetu hapa ni kuangalia kwamba for us, how do we get to grow the value of multinational companies? Number one is to ensure that we minimize our global taxes of these multinational companies by playing around with shifting of profits. How will we do this? Ladies and gentlemen, what I'll do, I have my branch here in Kenya. So we have a branch here in Kenya, right? And then we have, in this case here, for example, a branch in one of these tax havens. Is there anybody who is able to remember a country which is a tax haven? They normally ask that question in the APFT quite a lot. A tax haven. Tax haven, nakumbuka tax haven kweli? Yeah, like Bermuda, Mauritius, yes. Panama, Seychelles, yes. Cayman Island, right? Right. So I have here the Great Panama. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I'll do for me to be able to really grow my value of multinational companies, one thing that I'll do is to go straight away, for example, to a country like Panama, which is a tax haven. Ask myself, how can I set, for example, my management office at Panama? So at Panama, we have a management office which is able to run all these subsidiaries in all these countries. So that at the end of the day, Panama will be charging, like this subsidiary in Kenya, heavy management fees. So they charge them heavy, the invoice. Invoice, ladies and gentlemen, when they invoice like this, what happens? Kenya has to pay them. Kenya has to pay them. So when Kenya pays them, then automatically we're able to transfer most of our profits here. So if we keep on increasing our profits to tax havens where we shall not pay taxes, then our cash flows will be going up. And in finance, of course, as cash flows go up at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, then we shall be able to do what here? We shall be able to improve our farm value, of course, through discounting, etc., etc. So go to tax havens, set management, for example, units in these tax havens. That is very important for me. The other thing, ladies and gentlemen, that you can do to grow your value as a multinational is to look at the remittances. Remittances. When we are operating, ladies and gentlemen, in a country where we are perceived to be enemies, when we are perceived to be an enemy by a country, like for example, which country now sees Kenya as an enemy? Yeah, like now what will happen if there is a country which sees Kenya as an enemy and the Kenya happens to be having some companies, right? Companies in that country, then that country would want to withhold the dividends in that country. They'll say, no, don't pay them to Kenya. So then the only way out is to charge what we call a transfer fees. Because the transfer fees, remember, it's an invoice. Once I raise an invoice, then I'll be paid. Utasema tunalipa invoice. Sio dividends tunali. Pesa ikija hapa Kenya tunafanya tunagawana etc. At least tumeweza kupick something hapo which can be what here, which can be helpful. Wakuuliza swali kama hii kesho. Now, the other thing that I would want you guys to tell me as I leave this area, I would want you great students of mine to tell me something small about difference between Eurobonds and the Euro notes. 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 So bonds means what here? Long term. Euro notes. Notes are what here? Short term. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very well. When we talk of Eurobonds, we are looking at those loans that we are acquire from other countries. So loans denominated in foreign currency, which are what here, somebody, which are long-term in nature. These are like overdrafts, but now coming from where? Foreign countries. So for notes, everything itakuwa the same na here. Loans denominated in foreign currency, but which are what here? Short-term, which are short-term in nature. Haya, hapo tumekubaliana mpaka hapo. Wamenyamaza. Yeah. So kwa hivyo ukienda usikie kitu kama euro yen, ukisikia kitu kama euro yen, what comes to your mind? Euro yen, what comes to your mind? Euro yen, what comes to your mind? Japan. So this will be, ladies and gentlemen, A loan, in this case here, which is denominated in the form of what here? Yens, which is the Japanese currency, which is what here? Somebody long-term in nature. So basically, a euro yen, ladies and gentlemen, is a loan which has been given to us by Japan. So the word euro, wanakwambianga wenyewe Google size, euro should never confuse you like Europe. No, this euro means what here? Foreign. It simply chose this for foreign. So it's a foreign denominated loan, which of course comes to us in the form of what here? Yens. So tunako passport yako anakuambia euro dollar. Euro dollar. Unafuna mgonga mbio mbio unamwambia foreign currency, or rather a loan denominated in the form of what here? Dollars, which is long term in nature. Thank you very much. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the other thing that you will not be able to avoid this time around, whether you like it or not, ni kitu ya forward contract and the money market. Forward contract and the money market. Forward contract and the money market, hiyo lazima ukuwe umeiva zaidi. Forward contract and the money market. Iko wanafunzi ambao hawajui hii kitu. James anasema tuko. Kuna concept hapa inaenda mbio sana. Forward contract, money market. Kushake mkono peke yake. Ruth anasema hajaiva bado. Ni wengi. Ni wengi. Lakini sio wengi sana. Lakini hata kama ni mmoja, hiyo baya mtihani, uwezi ukasema ati normal loss. Sasa hata ya mmoja akianguka kwa exam ni mbaya. So everybody is important kuomba exam. But I know what I'll do. So wanafunzi wale ambao tumekuwa nao RCM for long, najua forward contract na money market mko sawa. Hiyo nayo nilielewa. Doricas anasema I wish ningekuja RCM mapema. Don't wish, you will pass. Section 6 tunaanza on 24th Monday. Sawa. So, ladies and gentlemen, kitu ya maana zaidi ningetaka zaidi ujue katika hizi forward contract money markets. Hizo mwenendo unajua sana. Theory yake pia ni very important. Very important. Na theory yake hawaulizangi hata maswali ngumu sana ya hii kitu. Watakuja hapa wakuulize, for example, difference between futures and the forward contract. Futures and the forward contracts. Mnazijua? Difference between. Hiyo nishawapatia tayari. Kigunda nasema yuko kwa damu. Right? So, difference between futures and forward contract. Kumbuka hiyo topic nimekuwa nikiwafunza hiyo euro whatever, hiyo ni topic ambayo iko ina different. Hiyo topic inaitangwa International Financial Management. International Financial Management. Na sasa kuna nyingine topic inaitwa derivatives. Unaona ukienda kwa exam unapata mingi, unaona? Forward is predetermined, future values keeps on Futures, hiyo ya kwanza imesema vizuri, hiyo ndio hujasema vizuri. Olivia amesema futures are dollar denominated. Futures, dollar denominated. Forward contracts, ladies and gentlemen, they take up any other currency apart from what here dollars. Beth amesema kwamba futures huwa zina happen kwa organized markets. Organized futures market. Lakini hii ingine inanga market. Hii ingine, ladies and gentlemen, ni ya nini? Hii ingine ni ya over the counter agreements. Olivia anasema because futures have an organized market, they are less risky. Hii sababu ni over the counter two parties gentlemen na bank, binadamu kama loan. Wengi wanaenda kuchukua loan kwa bank without any intention of repaying back. So in this case, the risk is very high. The risk is very high, like that. The risk is very high. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mwingine amesema hii futures, ladies and gentlemen, they are standardized. Ni kama ile noti ya 1000. Futures are standardized. Forward contracts can take up any shape, can take up what here, any value, can take up 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 any value, like that. So pia hapa anaulizanga mambo ya types of risks. Of course, ni vitu ambavyo unajua unafikiria haraka. Types of risks, kitu kama operational risks, political risks, economic risks, physical risks. Hizo ni zile risks za tax. Right? Regulatory risks, unakuta vitu kama hizo, currency risks, etc. Ile nyingine unaweza kuuliza rahisi, methods of hedging against forex, pia wanaulizanga sana. Yeah, methods of hedging against, sinizi tu forward contract, like that. So at least tuko na exposure. My point ni kwamba upate exposure. Ladies and gentlemen, sitaki mchoke pia sana. Unajua mkichoka mtasoma. So now sasa lazima to make agreement. The agreement is this. Wale wanafunzi wenye hawakuwa RCM at all. Ngoja kwanza. Wale wanafunzi, yes, wenye hawakuwa RCM at all. Right? Hawa lazima tuendelee na darasa yetu. Lazima niwafunze hii mambo ya forward contract. Right? Yes, kuna relation triko, yes. Au lazima nibaki nao niwafunze mambo ya forward contract, money market, etc. Hiyo nitakuonyesha, don't worry. Now, wanafunzi wale wengine wangu wanapoenda, better should stay sahau. Wanapoenda pia, kuna hii kitu ya advanced financing decision, ambayo nimekuambia sana, advanced finance, hata nimekutumia video yake. Financing decision. Hii nilikuwa najaribu kuangalia, ni area gani wakileta, wanaweza fanya wanafunzi wangu wakwame, area gani? Nikaona Hamada haizi wa mwaga. Hamada au wanafunzi wangu wako sawa. Nimeonyesha all, hii kitu ya Hamada. Nimeonyesha Hamada au wanafunzi, nimeonyesha all tricks za hii kitu, and I'm so sure wengi wanawezana nayo sana, hii Hamada. Yeah. Hamada. Ile kitu ya BE. Mnakumbuka kule mmeshasahau tayari. Naweza kuwa nasema opposite. Yeah. Tume your past paper please. Hiyo nikaona wanawezana nayo kabisa. Lakini sasa kuna another area, lakini pia nimewafunza hii sana. Hii kitu ya MM1 and MM2. Hii ya value of a firm. Please hii mujaribu sana kuangalia. Hii ya Modigira Lemira. Mujaribu sana kuangalia. The other area which examiner akileta atawamwaga wengi sana nje ni ile concept ya breakpoints. Iko mwanafunzi ambaye anasema breakpoint, mimi nimeiva breakpoint. Iko mwanafunzi ambaye anasema ameiva breakpoint. Mimi bado amount of a weight. Yes. Nope. Okay. Kiasi. Breakpoint ni wewe Peter, ati ni gani hiyo? Breakpoint. Ati ni gani hiyo? A big yes. I like what Joseph Shene is telling us. A big yes. Hiyo yote ikiwa namna gani, mimi naponyoka nayo. Karo ameendelea akisema mwalimu arbitrage profit. But now what we do, sababu sitaki nishinde hapa zaidi, nataka to make agreement. Wanafunzi wale ambao hawajui money market, hata ningetaka nibaki nao, lakini lazima to take break. Take break ya dakika ngapi? Tuelewane kwanza. Free ni kidogo. Sema 30 minutes usome hata wewe kidogo. Ama ufanye kitu tofauti kidogo. Now, hii swali ya shoe company, which is a very serious question, I would want us to also make another agreement. Give a video. No. For shoe company, kuna hii masaa mnaenda kwa kufanya exam. Sio mnaanza exam yenu saa ngapi? Saa 3. Right? Mnaingia kwa exam center saa ngapi? 7:30? Exam center 7:30. So I would want to give you a free session tomorrow just for the shoe company. Ukiwa umeshakuwa kwa exam center. I don't know whether that is agreeable. Just for, itachukua 30 minutes only. 30 minutes only for the shoe center, shoe company. 30 minutes only. 100%. No problem. Tulale kama tunajua. Ni kitu rahisi. Tulale, tumalize leo na jamaki. Because nilikuwa nataka saa hizi ikifika saa 4 kamili, mpate time ya kufreshen up, mfanye vitu zenu kidogo kidogo kando kama hizi kuangalia. We finish now please. Leo ndio poa kabisa. Rosaline 6 am. Tumalize saa hii. So kama unataka tumalize basi saa hizi, it's better we do it now then we revise. Kuna wale kwa traffic. Then no problem. If that is the case, then we take a 15 minutes break. Tukuje tumalize 15 minutes break, tumalize swali ya shoe company, ndio sasa nibaki na wale ambao wanataka kufanya money market. Itakuwa sawa hivyo? Itakuwa sawa hivyo, 15 minutes break. And during those 15 minutes, make sure that you have access to that question. Make sure you have access to that question. Make sure you have access to that question. If somebody has that question already, please itume kwa hii number. Ndio mpate huyu atumie wala hawana. Ule mwenye ameshaipata tafadhali tuma hiyo question kwa hiyo number. Alafu kama hauna, reach out to this person, the lady who is having this number, atakutumia question. Atule number ndio hapa, sorry. 0719 525,000. Please tuma hapo. The other thing, over the 15 minutes usitoke. Ukitoka nje hautarudi. You see we are at 100. Maybe hujaona. Ukitoka hautarudi ndani. So 15 minutes amua sara bundles. Tuko capacity, yes. Hata uko nasikia wengine wanalia sana, sema hawajaingia na wamelipa atawapatia video. I was leaving. Ukitoka hakuna kuingia tena. We are told here, the Better Company Shoe is considering a major investment in a new product area, novelty umbrellas. It hopes that this product will become a fashion icon. The following information has been collected. The project will have a limited life of how many years? 11 years. 2, the initial investment in plant and machinery will be 10 million. And a marketing budget of shillings 2 million will be allocated to the first year. The net cash flows before depreciation of plant and machinery and before marketing expenditure for each umbrella will be shillings 100. The products will be introduced both in Kenya and Uganda. The marketing cost in years 2 to year 11 will be 5 million per annum. If the product catches the imagination of the customers in both countries, then sales for the first year are anticipated at 1 million umbrellas. If the fashion press ignores the new products in one country but becomes enthusiastic in the other, sales will be 700,000 umbrellas in year 1. Ubaya mwanafunzi alitumia tu part moja peke yake, part moja peke yake. Hiyo part ingine iko wapi? Oye, hiyo part ingine iko wapi? Oye, hiyo part ingine iko wapi? Hiyo part ingine iko wapi? Aha, I gave you instructions on what you're supposed to do. So we are told up there, I'm starting again, unfortunately, that the Better Shoe Company is considering a major investment in a new product area, novelty umbrellas. It hopes that this product will become a fashion icon. The following information has been collected. The project will have a limited life of 11 years. The initial investment in plant and machinery will be 10 million, and the marketing budget of 2 million will be allocated to the first year. The net cash flows before depreciation of plant and machinery and before marketing expenditure for each umbrella will be shillings 100. The products will be introduced both in Kenya and Uganda. The marketing cost in 2 years to 11 years will be 5 million per annum. If the product catches the imagination of the customers in both countries, then sales in the first year are anticipated to be 1 million umbrellas. If the fashion umbrella ignores new products in one country, but becomes enthusiastic in the other, then sales will be 700,000 umbrellas in year 1. If the marketing launch is unsuccessful in both countries, first year sales will be 200,000 umbrellas. So, ladies and gentlemen, for sales, I can hear that there are 3 possible sales amounts. 3 possible sales amounts. 3. Which sales amounts are these? We are told that there is a possibility of us succeeding in both countries. We succeed in one country or we succeed in none. So sales is price times quantity. The price or the cash flow per unit, wamesema ni 100. So then how many units will I be selling at the end of the day? If in this case here we capture the imagination of clients in both countries, note number 6. Note number 6, if the product catches the imagination of customers in both countries, then sales will be 1 million umbrellas. So 100 times 1 million. So in shillings millions, this will be 100. How about note number 7? If the fashion press ignores the new products in one country, but becomes enthusiastic in the other, sales will be 700. Remember, the 100 still remains, times 700,000. So this will be how many millions here, somebody? 70 million, right? 70 million. So automatically, in terms of millions, this becomes 70. But now what happens if people are not enthusiastic in the 2 countries? If the marketing launch is unsuccessful in both countries, first year sales will be 200,000 umbrellas. So then this will be 100,000 times 200,000, which will give us 20. And then, ladies and gentlemen, this examiner is a good examiner. He has told me that the marketing cost in year 1, marketing cost in year 1 amesema namna gani? Note number 2. The initial investment, note number 2 anasema, the initial investment in plant and machinery will be 10 million and the marketing budget of shillings 2 million will be allocated to the first year. Meaning kwamba kama itakuwa ni first year, regardless of what we shall get there, hii itakuwa ni 100 million minus 2. Hii itakuwa ni 70 minus 2. Hii itakuwa ni 20 minus 2. 20 minus 2. So then, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, what figures will we be getting here? Somebody help me out here. So 100 minus 2 gives me what, somebody here? This gives me 98. Right? So first year sales. This will give me what, somebody here? 68. This will give me 18. First year sales. How about sales from year 2 to year 11? Somebody help me out. How about sales from year 2 to year 11. Year 2 to year 11. The only thing, ladies and gentlemen, that they have introduced here, which is quite different from years 2 to year 11, it is the marketing budget. Marketing budget for years 2 to year 11, somebody who is able to follow, wamesema itakuwa ngapi, somebody for year 2 to year 11? Marketing budget, if you're able to follow marketing budget, because marketing cost has to reduce. Wamesema ni 5, isn't it? Kwa hivyo year 2 to year 11, tutakuwa tunasema 100 minus 5. Hii itakuwa ni 70 minus 5. Hii itakuwa ni 20 minus 5. Kwa hivyo itakuwa ni 95, hii itakuwa ni 65, na hii itakuwa ni 15. At least with that understanding now, I will be able to pin down this question. Wamesemaje? Wamesema note number 3. Note number 3. Or rather note number 5. Marketing cost in years 2 to year 11 will be 5 million per what year per annum. Note number 6, if the product catches that I've already worked with it. Note 7, I've already worked with it. Note 8, if the marketing launch is unsuccessful in both countries, first year sales will be 2, that I've already seen. The probability of each of these events occurring, 1 million, 0.7, they have given us the probabilities. Note 9, if the first year is successful in both countries, then there are 2 possibilities. Note 10, if success is achieved in only one country in the first year, then for the remaining 10 years, there are again 2 possibilities. If the marketing launch is unsuccessful in both countries, the production will cease and the project will be scrapped with 0 value. Ladies and gentlemen, let's draw now our tree. So our tree will be a simple thing. This is how our tree will look like. This is how our tree will look like. Fortunately, you guys now have the figures. You guys have the figures. I can rub mine. I can rub mine because you have the figures already. So then here we are. Nitakuja hapa, ladies and gentlemen, niseme namna hii. Kumbuka financial management. Unasema namna gani somebody produce or something is considering a major investment in a new product area. So invest, don't invest. Invest, do not invest. If we don't invest, we get a 0. Ladies and gentlemen, if we invest, we start getting dividends. Remember, if we invest, by the way, how much are we going to pump in? If we invest, how much are we going to pump in? What is the investment amount? Somebody talk to me tonight. Somebody talk to me tonight. Somebody talk to me tonight. If you're investing, how much are we going to pump in? How much are we going to pump in if you're investing? Is there anybody who has a figure? 10 million. Unasema 10 million will be the investment. It's given note number 2. 10 million will be the investment. So if you're investing in this today, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here. So if you're investing in this today, this is what we have. So invest, don't invest. And if we don't invest, of course, we expect a good 0. If we invest, you guys are the ones who have told me that, Mwalimu, you will have to part with a cool 10 million shillings. And if we invest, ladies and gentlemen, what have we been told about these possibilities? If we invest in year number 1, ladies and gentlemen, interchange, please. If we invest, what have they told us? If we invest in year number 1, you start getting fruits in year number 1. We start getting fruits in year number 1. We start getting fruits in year number 1. We start getting fruits in year number 1. So we start getting fruits in year number 1. Which fruits are we getting? We could either have our cash flows being what here, somebody. Remember, you guys have the figures. We could either have our, or rather us succeeding in both countries, only one country, none of the countries. So if we succeed in both, is there somebody who is able to see the net sales, the net cash flow? Juliet anasema, if we succeed in both, from what we had here, tunapata 98. If we succeed in both, tunapata 98. Let me see. What if we succeed in one? If we succeed in 1, what happens if we succeed in 1? 68. 68. How about none? For year number 1, 18. 18. Ladies and gentlemen, if we succeed in both, there are two possibilities. If we succeed in both, there are two possibilities. If we succeed in both, there are two possibilities moving forward. Now for years 2 to year 11, years 2 to year 11, what have they told us there for years 2 to year 11? Patapotea. Wacha tuone hapa for years 2 to year 11. Patapotea. Haya. Tuende pale straight away kwa note number 9. By the way, hujanipatia, ngoja kidogo, hujanipea probabilities. Hii probability ni ngapi? Somebody 0 point? Probability hapa ni 0.3. Umepatia probability 0 point. Umepatia probability 0.4. Is that okay? Lastly is 0.3. I like this. Ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen and listen very well. Wamekuambia in note number 9, if the first year is successful in both countries, right? Sales levels are maintained at 1 million units per annum for the next 10 years with a probability of 0.3. The product is seen as a temporary fraud and the sales fall to 100,000 units for the remaining 10 years, probability of 0.7. Ladies and gentlemen, if we succeed in both countries, kuna two possibilities with this probability, 0.3 and 0.7. Tuone maajabu sasa hapa. Wanasema sales levels are maintained at 1 million per annum for the next 10 years. So if we maintain this thing at 1 million per annum for the next 10 years, per annum tutakuwa tunapata ngapi? Hapa anaweza nikaandika working one. So working one, remember the cash flow borrow ni 100,000 times my 1 million. But now remember here the marketing which will be applicable will be 5 million. From years 2 to year 11, the marketing applicable is 5 million. So could you kindly give me a figure to write here, somebody? A figure to write here. Itakuwa ngapi? Karibu tumalize, by the way. Karibu sana tumalize. 95. Now, ebu angalia hapa working two. For working two, ladies and gentlemen, tunajua bado itakuwa ni 100 per unit. 100 per unit times how many units do we expect to sell now here this time around? The product is seen as a temporary fraud and the sales will fall to 100,000. 100,000. But still remember, minus 5 million. Please give me a figure to write here. For working number 2, please give me a figure to write here. For working number 2, please give me a figure to write. 5 million. Wameanza kunyamaza hawa. Iko wanafunzi hata ukitaka kusaidia uwezo wasaidia. Sababu wananyamaza sana. Wanasema hapa itakuwa 5 million. 5 million. Sasa enda hapa. What if we succeed in one country in year number 1? Subsequently, what is going to happen? Wamesema, ladies and gentlemen, subsequently, what will happen in note number 10? Note number 10. If success is achieved in only one country in the first year, then for the remaining 10 years, there is a 0.4 and a 0.6 probability. Kwa hivyo itakuwa ni 0.4 probability, na hapa itakuwa ni 0.6. Right? Na wamesema namna gani? A 0.4 probability of maintaining the annual sales at 700,000. Na kumbuka ile sales ya 700,000 for sure uko nayo. Hiyo uko nayo. Working 3. Itakuwa ni 100 times 700,000 minus my marketing cost applicable for years 2 to year 11. Years 2 to year 11. Somebody tells me that this is supposed to be 65,000. 65. Tuachana na million. 65. Tuende katika working number 4. Working number 4, ladies and gentlemen, what do we have? For working number 4, anasema 0.6 probability of sales immediately falling to 50,000. So week number 4 itakuwa ni 100,000, times 50,000 minus 5 million. Could you kindly give me this figure? Wanasema ati ni 45 million. Is that okay? Angalia hawa wamechoka. Angalia hawa wamechoka, angalia hawa wamechoka. Juliet anasema ni 0. 50 0. Wengi wameconfirm ni 0. Kwa hivyo hapa itakuwa ni 0. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's now pick out the next one. The next one, wanasema if the marketing launch is unsuccessful in both countries, the production will cease. So if you're now unsuccessful, we don't even succeed in any. If the marketing launch is unsuccessful in both countries, the production will cease and the project will be scrapped with 0. So, ladies and gentlemen, listen and listen to me very well, that if we don't succeed in year number 1 at all, then moving forward from this particular node, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we know that we will not be able to get anything. So there is 0, like that. 0. So, ladies and gentlemen, this being a finance management question, the first thing I'll do is to give them a discounting factor for year 1. Give them a discounting factor for year 1. So discounting factor for year 1, what do we have? Discounting factor for year 1, what do we have? Discounting factor for year 1, what do we have? So they are moving quite fast. I hope you are able to follow somehow. Yeah. So have they given us the cost of capital? Have they given us the cost of capital? Have they given us the cost of capital? Yes. Wanasema ni ngapi? 10%. So please come and give me PVIF. PVIF, for year 1, 10%. In year 1. Tafadhali naomba uniangalie hata kama ni kwa table ama wherever. Juliet ananiambia ni 0.9091. 0.9091. Kutoka hapo uniangalilie from years 2 to year 11 PVIFA from years 2 to year 11. Years 2 to year. Remember, we were told up there that the product life cycle is 11 years. The first year ndio hiyo, alafu nashika 2 to 11. So for years 2 to 11, this needs some expansion. We need to expand this. So how do we expand this? Is there anybody who knows how I will expand this? Itakuwa ni PVIFA of the higher limit, which is 11, minus PVIFA of the lower but minus 1. So PVIFA of what here, somebody? 1. And I would want to repeat this. I would want to repeat this thing. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that here for sure, what they have given us, ladies and gentlemen, here for sure, what they have given us, look at this. We have our number line. We have 0. We have 1, 2, all the way up to 11. All the way up to 11 like that. So you see they want from years 2 to what? 11. But you see how PVIFA operates, you must talk of the first 11 minus what is unwanted. So I'll talk of PVIFA for the first 11 years minus, of course, when you see even yourself from the inner eye, if you look at this, they want from years 2 to 8, I am able to tell that year 1 is unwanted. So then I'll need to get PVIFA 11 minus PVIFA 1. Remember, this is 11 at 10%, 1 at 10%. Could you kindly give me these figures? PVIFA 11, 10%. Is there somebody who has a figure there from the table? From the table. 6.49, 6.49, 6.49, 6.49, 51. 6.49, 51. How about PVIFA 10%, 1? PVIFA 10%, 1. PVIFA 10%, 1. 0.9091. Aki hapa mjafuata vizuri sana. 0.9091. So could you kindly give me this figure then? What is this PVIFA from years 2 to year 11? So wanasema in a 5.5 860. Thank you. So as I leave you to finish, ladies and gentlemen, with this thing, listen and listen to me very well. Remember now our procedure. Our procedure will be to come and get NPVs for each branch, ignoring the probabilities first. Give us NPVs of the branches, ignoring the probabilities first. Is there somebody who can do that for us? Is there somebody who can do that for us? Ignoring the branch, ignoring the probabilities, please, ignoring the probabilities, please give us, ignoring the probabilities, please give us, ignoring the probabilities, please give us net present values of each branch. Sasa angalia hapa, tuanze na branch number 1. So branch number 1, unafuata branch paka Matwine, kama barabara ya gari. Naona hii branch 1. Hivyo sasa. Hapa nimeona cash flow 98, hapa nimeona cash flow 95. Na nimeona initial outlay. So initial outlay, what am I doing? I'm getting net present values. Initial outlay for branch number 1 is -10. Plus, I can see for branch number 1, I can see 98. But this 98 is coming at the end of year 1. So it must be multiplied with the PV for year 1. It has to be discounted. So PV for year 1, what do we have here, somebody? 0 point. PV for year 1, 0 point. PV for year 1, 0.1991. Thank you very much. Now, if you're following, then we have this kind of a cash flow, which is an annuity every year. So it will be 95 times PVFA for years 2 to year 11. PVFA for years 2 to year 11. What figure do we have there, somebody? 5.5860. 5.5860. Thank you very much. Aya, sasa tuende pole pole. Sema minus this, plus that. Nipatie figure in 2 decimal places. JMN, seemingly is a serious guy. Ameniambia ni 609.76. Thank you very much. Aya, kwa ile spirit ya overcoming, regardless of the challenge, which may look insurmountable. Could you kindly give me, in this case here, NPV for branch number 2? NPV for branch number 2. NPV for branch number 2. NPV for branch number 2. So for branch number 2, people are telling me 107.02. How many of us are getting this 107.02? How many of us are getting this 107.02? 107.02. 107.02. Let's see. Branch number 2, remember, tunatembea na branch number 2. Tunatembea na branch number 2. So I'm still seeing -70. Initial cannot be discounted. Plus, branch number 2, I can see 98 times 0.9091. Branch number 2, I can see, ladies and gentlemen, is this 5? Is this 5? So 5 times 5.5860. Could you kindly confirm that 107 is the correct thing? 107.22. 107.22. Naambiwa kwamba ya kwanza iko na makosa. Sijui kama ni ukweli. Ati ya kwanza iko na makosa, ya kwanza iko na mashida. Haiwezi kuwa 609 ati. Inafaa kuwa 107. Angalieni hii branch number 1. Kuna sister ananiambia inafaa kuwa 107.2. Is the sister iko wamekataa. Wamesema inafaa kuwa 609. Iko sawa. Pole, wanasema iko, hata ukiangalia no 95 times hii ni figure kubwa sana. Na uongezee juu yake alafu sema -10. It's a very big figure. It's a very big figure. So this 609 is very correct. 609.72 is very correct. How about branch number 3? Sasa nipateni figure haraka. Branch number 3. Branch number 3. Naambiwa na Juliet ni 414.91. Juliet anasema ni 414.91. Juliet anasema ni 414.91. Remember, as you're getting this NPV, the rule is you ignore the probabilities 100%. Ignore the probabilities 100%. So go to branch number 4. So branch number 4, what do we have? Branch number 4, 51. Branch number 4. Branch number 4, 51.82. Branch number 4 is 51.82. Branch number 4 is 51.82. Branch number 4 is 51.82. So nenda kwa branch ya mwisho, which will be 18 times 0.9091 minus this. Because hakuna kitu ingine subsequently. So Alice ananiambia ni 6 point what here? 36. 6.36 like that. 6.36 like that. But can somebody else confirm that figure for branch number 5? Can someone else confirm that figure for branch number 5? Thank you very much. Now, remember, whatever you have gotten here is net present value. Now you need to come and create a column here for joint probability. Joint probability is what we have, Jameni. Joint probability, you are joining probabilities. We walk along the branch. Whatever probabilities you're able to see along the branch, you multiply them. Like for branch number 1, I can see 0.3 and 0.3. Hakuna ingine 0.3, 0.3. When I multiply that, I'll get 0.09. How about the joint probability for branch number 2? Somebody be aggressive. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. So Alice tells me that for branch number 2, it's supposed to be 0.21. Is there someone else who is able to see also 0.21? Is there someone else who is able to see 0.21? Yeah, most of them are able to see that because these are bright students. Wameona probability 0.7 and 0.3, giving me 0.21. Aya, tukuja hapa katika branch number 3. So branch number 3, 0.16. Branch number 3, 0.16. Branch number 4, take probability that you have, you multiply them. 0.24. And then lastly, we have in this case here the last branch. It will be 0. What here, somebody? 0.3. Don't tell me that mwalimu here we have a probability of, no. We are guaranteed that the cash flow will be 0. The probability is 1. The probability there is 1. And if you want to know whether you are correct, remember the procedure. Come and total up. Give us the total joint probability. If it doesn't come up to 1, know that you are wrong. You total up the joint probability. That's a very good way of knowing whether you are right. Actually, if your tree is badly done, you can't get a total probability of 1. You can't get. Thank you very much. So then the last thing to be done, unakuja hapo unaita hii x, unaita probability, una create column ya xp. Una multiply. I want answers in terms of 2 decimal places. I want answers in terms of 2 decimal places. I want answers in terms of 2 decimal places. So 609.72 times, wanasema ni 54.88. 54.88. From there we have 107.02 times 0.21. 22.47. 22.47. From there we have the next one. That times 0.16. 66.39. 66.39. Then we have the second last. What do we have there? Second last. Beta shoe. 12.44. 12.44. And then we have the last one. 1.91. Thank you very much. So from there, come and add for us, which will be the expected net present value. Please add them up. So naambiwa ni 158.08 like that. So then you compare this with 0. Where are we better off? Investing or not investing? Invest. So we are better off, ladies and gentlemen, investing, yes. So I can see Ruth has put up her hand. Maybe Ruth, you could type. Okay. So once ushafika hapo umemaliza, wakuuliza mambo ya standard deviation, I'm so sure you can easily get standard deviation for us. Hiyo utangangana peke yako. So now, moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, from now, ukisha freshen up a little bit, kwa unaendelea kusoma, usiogope kusoma. Usione kwa utachoka sana. Just do like another 1 or 2 hours. Kindly correct your workings for branch number 2. Branch number 2 iko na shida gani? Branch number 2, I thought this is correct. I mean, nafaa kuwa 20 minus 7 minus 10. Ngoja. Wapi hapo? Hapo chini hapo minus 10. Thank you very much. This could easily confuse people. Minus 10. Thank you very much. So moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, ukisha freshen up a little bit, perhaps uko na ile kamba yako unarukaruka namna ile rope. Rukaruka namna hii, unakunywa maji ya kutosha, unaenda kwa kitabu yako, you only look at the questions that you know. Unaenda kwa kila chapter, ndio kupatia siri. On top of what I've given you. Unaenda kwa kila chapter choosing whatever questions you want, which you feel that these are easy for me. Unasema hii ni kama ni portfolio, acha nifanye hii. Tena topic nyingine nifanye hii. Unaenda cutting across all the topics, you'll come to thank me later. So now, ladies and gentlemen, kilicho na mwanzo kina mwisho. So for AFM, you guys have been my buddies around here for quite a long time. So I want to take this opportunity to wish you some special kind of success, not only in your exams, but also in your lives. So I'll be there to mentor you throughout, especially on this thing called what here? Excel. Mkipata time, kama sasa mkishamaliza exam, msiende kupumzika. Mkishamaliza exam, sema mwalimu, of course amwezi afford kulipa Excel vizuri, sasa mko broke. Sema mwalimu, we have this amount, maybe 2,000, 3,000. Take us through these concepts of what here? Excel, and give us a certificate. So naonyesha, like, if you are an auditor, what Excel are you supposed to know? How do you do the pivot tables? How do you do this and this? Bila kujua Excel vizuri, utakuwa na complain. I told you the other time. Utakuwa na complain, bora sisi tunapata 20,000 per month. Ati CPA ni mbaya. Hapana. So we need to be meeting more. Hii siku ni mwisho. Usianze kusema sasa sasa ati mimi na exit group. Hapana. Hizo groups ziko na maana sana. One day utakuja kujua zina maana. Hapana exit group. Wewe kaa hapo ndani. Otherwise, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, we are going into war. And this war we must win. Hakuna kusema ile kitu ati if you fail, so what? We have to win. The most important thing is confidence. I liked what I saw some students saying, Mary, alijua ile kitu ya kuruka spaces. Ukifanya question number 1, ukiona question number 1 umepotea, unaenda kupotea but umefika mahali exhaust whatever you knew, unaacha space, unaenda kwa swali lingine. Now, most of you, I saw you complained about advanced MA, kwamba time ilikuwa kidogo. Hapana, advanced MA time ilikuwa sawa. Wewe ndio kuangalia nini? Ile kitu ya 40 minutes per question. Ikifika 40 minutes per question, regardless of how that particular question is easy to you. Kama variances, mlikuwa mnasema Mr. Shah kwa darasa, Mr. Shah kwa exam. Paka unasahau time na hii? No. Kesho ikifika mahali 40 minutes, wachani usiende kwa swali lingine, because we're also testing your ability to do the entire paper. Otherwise, thank you very much. Wale wanafunzi ambao sasa pia wangetaka kusaidika, ni wanafunzi ambao wametoka Royal. Kwanza wanafunzi wangu wa sasa ni wazuri kwa kumarket, wamenimarket sana. So wanafunzi, me have had a very long day today and I'm very tired. Lakini ukiniambia sasa kama ni 4 am tuamuke nionyeshe money markets ama whichever, I'll be willing to do that for you for free. So mtaniambia saa hizi tuamuke saa ngapi? Ama ile time ninge prefer zaidi